I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, it's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchange something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on. What's up, what's up, what's up? And I welcome everybody to the Billy Graham Jr. TV show. I hope you're having an amazing week, because I know I am. Just got back from another trip, and I could not wait to get back to talk to y'all, because, man, when I found out who the guest for today is, I was mind blown. I was like, how am I going to be able to watch this individual share her story, share her life, her passion, her purpose, her gift with the world, and be able to sit back? I might just let her run the whole show, because it just amazes me, all the things that she does. I don't even know how she does it. She juggles so many things, and she does it effortlessly. Man, I would keep going. I would keep talking about it, but I can't. I gotta introduce her. I gotta let you meet her for yourself. She hails from Philly. She currently resides in Houston. She is the owner of My Blessed Hands. I told you, she handles a lot of things. She juggles a lot, and that's why her company is named My Blessed Hands. I have to let you meet her. I won't hold you up anymore. I have to welcome you, Miss Myasia Reed.
Hello, grace and peace. It's good to be
What's going? See, she comes in the show and it's just already lighting up the room. All you see is the smile is just like the aura. I can't. That smile just makes everybody want to look back and smile too. Like, we can't help it.
I can't help it. I can't.
Now, before we even go any further, because it's so much I got that I want to ask you and talk to you about, and I got to get it all in. But before we do that, can you please tell the world who is Miss Myasia?
So grace and peace to the world, all over the world. My name is Myasia. I'm was born and raised in Philadelphia. I reside in Houston, Texas. I'm 33 years old. This is definitely my Jesus year. Okay, just gotta say that. And I am an entrepreneur, all things entrepreneur. I'm a full-time graphic designer, and I do a lot, but we'll get into that.
I gotta know. Everybody wants to know why. What made you move from Philly to Houston?
Where do I start? Okay.
Wherever you want.
So, what made me move here? God definitely told me to move to Houston. At the time, I definitely didn't know why at all. It was definitely prior to the pandemic. In let's say 2019, around August, God actually told me to cancel my plans for 2020, and I'm asking my friends, like, did y'all hear that? Anybody tell y'all to cancel y'all plans? They like, nah, sis, I don't, you gonna have to, and so I canceled flights, I canceled conferences, a lot of different things, and I didn't really know why. But in December 2019, I actually traveled to Houston to a prayer night. And it was like a prayer night from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And I remember being at this prayer night, and this man of God walked up to me, and he was like, "You ain't from here." I'm like, "That's correct." He's like, "Your style is different." I think I had on braces like this. And he's like, "When did you get here?" I'm like yesterday, like last night. He like, "When you leaving?" I was like, Today. He like, "So you came here for a prayer night?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so he's like, "Well, the next time you come here, it won't be to visit. It's going to be to live."
Wow.
Like, give it 90 days. And to be honest, my lease was up in a little over 90 days. I moved here April 10th, 2020. And it's been life-changing for sure.
If you look up "walk by faith, not by sight" in the Bible, I'm pretty sure it's a picture of you like this.
That's me.
because you said something and it caught my attention when you was like, when he spoke to you and you was like, did y'all hear that? Like, I want people to understand, like, God speaks to you in a certain way. And sometimes we sitting there like, is that a thought? Or did I just do that? All of it's God. But when he speaks to you, he speaks to you. It's not a conference call. He ain't speaking to everybody. That's why other people don't hear. And you have to follow the vision because he was only talking to you. He gave it to you, not nobody else but man.
Yes.
And then you were told in one day, oh, you came for prayer, but you coming back to stay. And now we got you here in Houston.
Now I'm here with you, Billy Graham. I'm here with you. Listen, that's why I came to Houston, to be connected to people like you. And I'm grateful.
See, you don't even realize saying that make me feel good, but based on the vision that God gave me, it's a reason that you're on this show, and it's a reason we were connected because we're supposed to be. We're going to talk about that offline. The reason I say I'm going to talk about it offline, because I got a snippet, and I want everybody to understand, because y'all know me, I be transparent with everything we talk about, because I want y'all to understand that this is how it works in life. Yeah. So I called Myasia just, introduce myself. So I always do a pre-introduction before we come on the show. But literally while we were talking and she was saying stuff, I'd be like, I've stopped talking. I don't want to hear it. Stop talking. Because when I bring it to you, I want it to be authentic. I want you to get my natural reaction, her natural reaction, questions we don't even have prior to the show. We come up with it as we go because it's authentic and transparent. So I was like, Myasia, stop talking. Change the subject.
Yes.
But I did get something out of her. And it was all about her business, My Blessed Hands.
Yes.
Now, somebody out there, because this show is all about bringing individuals on, different personalities, so that they can see what different people do for us, business or whatever it may be in their life, because somebody out there is connecting to what you went through or got through to get to where you are. And they're like, man, I can do the same thing, or that's the same gift I have. Yeah. I can do the same thing. So please tell us, what is My Blessed Hands?
So My Blessed Hands is literally an umbrella of the many facets of the gifts and talents that God has given me by His grace, for sure. It started out back in 2012, should I say. I was actually living in Philly, and recently had just graduated from college. And I kind of back it up a little bit. After I graduated college, I interned at NASA. Background is in computer science.
Whoa! You interned at NASA?
I did.
You're not just gonna talk over that.
Listen, I interned at NASA right after I graduated college. And initially, this is how I know I'm supposed to be here. Initially, my internship was supposed to be in information technology at NASA in Greenbelt, Maryland, right? But leading up to graduating, I really wanted to switch my major to graphic design, but I was in a scholarship program, African American female, so they was paying for everything. So literally, I was like, look, I can't do IT at this internship. I was like, I want to walk by faith and not by sight. So I went to Maryland, got set up with the housing, went to the first day of the internship to meet the CEO of that particular branch of NASA. And it was like that long conference table with the little intercoms and all that kind of stuff. You got everybody, a part of the department sitting there. And they're like, introduce yourself. What are you here for? And I was like, hey, I was like, sorry, I don't want to do IT. I was like, can y'all like switch my internship? Like, is it too late? I was like, cause I'm creative and I don't want to sit behind no computer all summer. He looked at me. He was like, well, we don't have no graphic design internship, but we could work something out. So literally that whole summer I rebranded their department. And that was like a sign to me that like nothing was going to hinder me from being what God called me to be. And from there, I would just start designing, and I would apply to jobs thinking I could be a graphic designer at a company, and I would never get hired.
Even after working at NASA?
Well, when I interned at NASA. I interned at NASA, but I got sick. So leading up to the internship coming to a close, I ended up having to get sent to the hospital, sent home, had to get heart surgery in August 2011, and then another surgery in November. But while I was on bed rest, I had a dream that I was in hair school. Now, I wasn't like an avid dreamer back then. So me having the dream, the type of dream I had, I said, this got to be God. Because it was, I remember seeing the colors on the wall. I remember seeing the people in the office. And I was like, hair school? But I had been styling hair since I was younger. I was an on-campus hairstylist. But I never... Before albums, before people would post on Instagram, Facebook had albums. I used to name the albums like Hair in Viking Village or Hair in, and I would post my styles with the prices and stuff. And I was an entrepreneur before I knew it, before I knew the word, And so literally, I end up applying to hair school the next day. And I had been styling hair from 2012 to 2020, but I was designing. I was building up my own brand. How about that? Building up my own brand by myself. People used to inbox me on Instagram and be like, "Oh my God, you responded!" And I'm like, "Ain't that what I'm supposed to do?" But in the meantime, I got a hot comb in one hand, cell phone in the other hand, glue and stuff in the other hand. And look, I had more than one hand, okay? And they were just like, "How do you manage all of this?" But I knew I was gifted in some kind of way because I'm quick with my fingers. When I text people, they be like, "My age, just slow down. I'm still in the first paragraph. What you doing?" My blessed hands. Look, they speak for themselves. So I had been designing for my own brand. People thought I had like a social media manager. And so by the time I got to Houston, and I'll kind of slow down a little bit, I ended up switching from full-time hair and freelance graphics to full-time graphics and freelance hair. So now it's just working out. Yeah.
Man. Hold on, you said a bunch, and I gotta go back to some of. I want to welcome everybody that's coming in because Ernest, he over there in the UK, but he turned over because he like, wow, what a testimony. Tamir talking about, come on, amen. Denise telling you to speak. I gotta unfold this stuff. So you telling me, one, you was at the long table at NASA. And that right there is enough to make me say wow, because you growing up, you're like, what do you want to be? An astronaut. And people like, you want to be an astronaut? Okay, little Jimmy, you want to be an astronaut. Yeah. You literally was interning at NASA. You walk in the room and you're at the table that they built for themselves, Not only because people always you hear people always say, I'm not invited to the table, I'm gonna build my own table. You literally were invited to a table. You didn't like the way the table looked, and you told the people at the table, I'm gonna build another table that y'all don't even know y'all need.
Listen,
and you rebrand the whole.
I flipped the table like Jesus.
This ain't the right table.
Listen.
And then you made another table. And then this is the part that blows my mind. Because that was after you had already been in college, and I want people to catch this. Things that you do on a daily basis that you don't even pay no attention to, that comes so naturally to you, that's your gift.
Man.
Maisha in there doing hair with a hot comb on the cell phone, building a brand. Who builds a brand and does hair at the same time?
Me.
So what are you doing over there? People in the world out there watching the show, you're doing something so effortlessly because it just comes natural. Everybody can't do that. I can barely brush my hair and hold my phone at the same time, let alone doing somebody else's hair. No. So that was one. And then you kept going, and because, like you said, you didn't even know the word entrepreneur. And I want people to understand, entrepreneur is sort of a newer word that the world is pushing, society is pushing. And I always tell people, like, think outside the box, because there is no box. You can't be in a box. You heard the video in the intro. If you didn't, go back and watch it. There is no box. And society is starting to push the word entrepreneurship, but this entrepreneurship journey has been going on forever. We just didn't have a word for it. Maisha told you she was branding herself and didn't even know it. And it led her to where she is with My Blessed Hands. Mm-hmm. Now, as we keep going, because, man, this is getting good. Once you figured out that I want to do My Blessed Hands, because remember, I told you I want you to walk the people through it. When you figured out, like, man, this is what I'm good at, I already redid the branding for NASA, and you knew you did the hair, you did all that, which that makes sense. I see your hair over there. I see you. That makes so much sense as you're telling. Yes. I see the hair. Don't get me started. So as you keep going and you're going with the rebranding NASA in their office, what makes you say, I need to start the business, like make the business legit? Because obviously we have so many people out there running around just doing things. What made you realize I need to make this a business?
Right. So in the process of me kind of being in hair school and then transitioning, trying to figure out, life, because I think I was about 20, 22, 23. I was in my duplex. It was like a 3-bedroom duplex, living room, bedroom, empty room, dining room. And there will be days where I would have do makeup for photo shoots and do photography for clients in one room. And then I would be doing, hair in another room. And then in my office doing graphics. And I remember looking down. I remember this day. I remember looking down. I was like, my hands are blessed. Like, just like this. And that's where the name came from. So back then, I didn't know much about trademarking and stuff like that. I just started, using my name and, different things like that. Then I had got my logo created, but I actually took a picture of my hands and digitized, and made like a cartoon version of my hands. And that was my logo. Because I said, can't nobody steal my hands? All the lines, everything was in there. And so I just started from there, just designing, again, freelance, and then styling hair. And initially, I didn't fully understand, because I had, in the process of me going to hair school, once I graduated, I was styling hair. But, when you're that young, you're like, I want to make money, like money not coming in. But at the time, too, I had also been trying to grow my relationship with God. And I realized some things that I was doing couldn't take me into the next year, like 2012 into 2013. And so I had gave my life to Christ, like, seriously, no more 12,000 altar calls every other year, because I done sinned on Saturday into Sunday. And at that time, I was like trying to recalibrate my life a little bit. And I started to learn more about Jesus. And I'm like, well, he was a servant. And I said, well, the best thing I could do was kind of give back to my city, because I'm from a city where poverty is poverty stricken, the crime rate, murder, it's a lot of things going on. So I ended up actually becoming an instructor at Youth Build Charter School, and it was for high school drop-ins. So no matter where they dropped out at, they came in at the same time. And I was teaching graphics and web design. I did that for about a year. I reapplied the next year, but I didn't get accepted. So I said, okay, God, well, that's not your plan for me. So I started to style hair. The funny thing is, because we talk about hearing the voice of God, at that time I was still cultivating and nurturing what that was. But sometimes when you don't really know what God's voice sound like, you think it's supposed to be like Maisha. It wasn't that. It was like that small, still voice, but it was things. Sometimes I try to tell people when I help them grow, and it's kind of tying into like my purpose, but helping people understand what the voice of God sounds like. It can sound like you're speaking to yourself.
Yes.
But it's literally when your mind is quiet, when your heart is at peace, when your mind is at peace, it's spontaneous thoughts that light upon your heart or your mind.
Yes.
And I remember realizing that it was God's plan for me to style hair in that 6.5 years, because I was working at a school. They didn't rehire me the next year. Then I got a phone call from somebody who had seen me styling hair from people at the church I was going to. They told me the address of the salon, and something in me was like, that sounds familiar. I opened up my GPS, and the address that they gave me was directly across the street from the school I worked at for the year before.
Wow.
I mean, you walk outside the school and you look across the street, the salon was right there.
Wow.
The school address was 1231. The hair salon address was 1220. So I knew I was in alignment. Still had no purpose of why, though. I still didn't know why. But I was going by faith. I was going with the flow. Because guess what? Those 6.5 years of me styling hair built up me as an evangelist. Sharing my faith with women, beautifying them, pouring into them. They was coming in broken, leaving whole, And so here it is. I'm in Houston now, and guess what? I'm being trained up. I'm growing. I'm getting my feet wet. I'm doing the will of God, and it makes me realize that God calls all things to work together for our good, even if you don't understand.
Say that again. Say that again.
Listen. God calls. We like, oh, I work all things. No. God calls all things, good, bad, indifferent, ugly, to work out for your good. Because guess what? He says we're called we love God, and we're called according to his purpose. Because if you don't love God, it don't work that way. You got to love God for him to work things out for your good. Because there's a calling. There's something that's greater that he wants us to do. And so, listen, it just all comes full circle. And I told you this earlier. If it don't come full circle, it ain't God. It ain't God. It ain't God. Can't be.
Maisha, you about to take us to church.
Listen, that's okay.
But you said some stuff. A lot of nuggets was dropped.
Yes.
And I'm finna pick these nuggets up, and we finna make this diamond for the world. Because that's how you know God is talking through you. Because you said first, you said recalibrate.
Yes.
You said alignment.
Yes.
You said broken to fixed.
Yes.
You said the school was across the street.
Period.
I want everybody to understand what she just told y'all. To get from point A to point B,
movement,
you need a certain type of vehicle. The vehicle can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of what we're talking about, let's say a car. When you have a car and you need repairs to your car, you do what? You take it to the mechanic.
Fix it.
Your life is not operating the way you want it to, but you haven't taken it to the mechanic. And that mechanic is God.
Yes.
When you take your life and put it, you heard her say she gave her life back to God. All of a sudden, it got back in alignment. What's that song? Cleaned up. It got back in alignment. Yeah. And not only did it get back in alignment, she went from broken to fixed. And it was so people misunderstand. She told you it was right across the street. That's a GPS. Whenever you want to look up something, you go to your GPS. She went to her GPS, God's purpose and strategy for her life. And it led her right across the street. So when you wondering why your life ain't working right, Maisha is telling you right now, she dropped all the nuggets for you. Alignment, fixed to broken, recalibrate. You need to take yourself back over to God and get realigned, recalibrated, fixed to broken so you can get to your destination following the GPS that he has for your life. But I'm not going to keep going like that. Maisha, let me slow down because you're dropping stuff. You got me over here. I might need
you hot.
Getting hot over here. So now that let's take it to this with the people, because now that we have figured out where you came from with my blessed hands, where you went from college, doing hair, holding phones, multitasking, going to NASA, telling them that the table not right, I'm gonna build another one, I'm gonna rebrand you, and then you come up and you rebrand yourself to my blessed hands, and now you know what you need to do. how do you take those services and give it to the people?
So, one of the things about My Blessed Hands is that it's comprised of the different compartments. So you have hair, you have graphic design, you have holistic nutrition, you have spiritual life coaching. But as it relates to Houston, in 2020, we know the pandemic happened. I strongly believe that if you was in the vein of God, if you was in the will of God and with the heart of God, you were blessed in 2020. If you happen to go through 2020 and be like, oh, that was the worst year of my life and something went right. Because even if it started off that way, it wasn't supposed to end that way. Because God knows the ending of a thing before the beginning. So he knew what was going to happen. And so when I moved to Houston, God was like, I'm rerouting, I'm rechanging. Again, we talk about, the one thing about life is that it's a journey. It's not a place to be obtained. So if I live my life like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, you limiting what God is trying to lead you to. So he like, look, we about to shake up your whole life. We about to start it all over. Because again, though I gave my life to Christ in 2013, here it is 7 years later in 2020. And he like, we got to shake up the foundations of your life because it's getting stale. Some things is not moving right. So he's like, I'm going to change it. So I started to rebrand My Blessed Hands. I started to challenge myself in some areas. Me moving to Houston wasn't just to build a business. It was for God to literally do a whole makeover, a total makeover, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. I mean, every kind of Italy, LLY. It came to change it all. And so I began to be stretched because I had got comfortable. If you was to tell me back in 2020 or prior, oh, my agent, what you think about this? Oh, yeah, I got it. I know how to do that. What that sound like? Pride. I mean, I was so stuck in my way thinking because it was working for me in that season. But now I'm in a whole new region, a whole new territory. Certain kind of people live here. And people don't understand that when you travel from place to place, not that you conform to the place, but you meet the needs of the place.
Yes.
And so I realized there's a lot of entrepreneurs here. There's a lot of people who are blessed and gifted here, but then there's a missing piece. And that's where I come in because my focus with my graphics is to help those who are entrepreneurs, business owners, even in corporations or nonprofits who have value in their businesses, but they want to take it to another level.
Yes.
Some of us, we got some rinky-dink stuff on social media. I'm going to just call it what it is.
I'm one of them.
Your profiles is old and outdated. Your Instagrams ain't got no alignment to it. It ain't got no flow to it. And then people come on your websites and they only spend 2 or 3 minutes on the website, but they can't click on nothing to purchase nothing. You got all these words, you got all these sounds, all these bongs and gongs and stuff, and literally there's no focus. So I help people to like minimize because less is best, but then let it be purposeful. So I help brand and rebrand or market companies. And it's not just marketing, because marketing, it can be colorful, it could be all over the place. But when you brand something, it means that I found my niche, I found my colors, and I want to attract to a certain type of crowd that's going to help me to meet their needs. So that's what I do with graphics. And so over the last 2 years, I've just been branding and growing, being stretched. I think since 2020, I've helped illustrate 3 kids' books. That's a miracle. Because part of me moving here was to heal from childhood trauma. How be it that when you're a designer, your mind has to be right. Your mind has to be consecrated. I can't design no logo and I got all this stuff going on up in here. I can't be worried, stressed, full of anxiety and all that kind of stuff. My mind needs to be consecrated to the point that when I go to sleep at night, God can speak to me. I need the logo to look like that. So people get crazy. They be like, you said you pray over my logo? Absolutely. Because guess what? The Bible says, let this mind be in me that was also in Christ Jesus. So yes, I can have the mind of Christ. The same Christ who worked miracle signs and wonders. I got that mind. People say, you went to Houston, you lost your mind. And you're right. I lost my mind for the mind of Christ. Absolutely. You know, sometimes you got to take people's negative thoughts and help them to see, no, you speaking truth. I lost my mind. I did. It's back in Philly. When I came to Houston, my mind is made up. I got a whole mind. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
You talking about your mind. You got my mind flipping, turning, doing backflips, somersaults, Because I promise you, I can't let, because you dropping so much. And like you said you were gonna slow down. I don't want you to, because it might be dropping fast, but I'm picking it up and I gotta give it back because she just told you. She didn't even know she was doing it. She was using words like reroute. She rerouted. We still on GPS, because I'm sorry.
Wow.
She rerouted. She said move. God rerouted her life and moved her from Philly down here because her mission wasn't in Philly. It was to come down here. And she saw so many people doing all these amazing things. God took my blessed hands, my agent, and he said, I not gave you all this. I rerouted you. I not put your car back in alignment, fix everything, got it looking good. Now I need you to drive the bus and pick everybody up and start helping them as well. So now she's driving around, not just Houston, she's worked worldwide, and she's picking people up, helping not just change their life, but rebrand them in the way that others can work with. Lord Jesus. You are touching on some stuff, because she said you have to clear your mind state. And I want you to think it like this. Think like a piece of real estate. When you go to a piece of real estate, you see junk on it, all this stuff, a house that needs to be knocked down, bulldozed over. Think of your mind like that. You have your mental real estate, and it's so cluttered with junk. And you need to clean off your real estate and start over, because your mental is the only way you're going to get forward, because you're holding on to things. You heard Maya just say she had to come here to deal with past traumas.
Yes.
You can't move forward if you're still holding on to baggage in the past. You can't become who you're supposed to be if you're still holding on to who you used to be. I'm going to say that. You can't become who you're supposed to be if you're still holding on to who you used to be. And so you have to declutter that mind and follow God's GPS that he has for your life. We're not going to preach church up in here, because we have people in here, because Tamara already said we need an offering plate, because you is up there. Not only you said you're not going back and forth to the altar, you are up here talking and you bringing people to the altar. So with that being said, I got to know, now that you found this way and you're helping others along with not just their purpose, their gift, because I want people to understand something. My agent said it already when it came to sort of like networking. You can have a purpose and a gift, but it doesn't do anything if you don't have a way to get it out there and give it to others. And that's when you might have to reach out and network with others to make that a possibility. So with that being said, my agent, can you tell the world what are the best ways that you've seen when doing rebranding that people can start looking into avenues to help not just better themselves, but get themselves out there more? Because you're the rebrand expert, to get themselves out there more so that they can start using their gifts to live in their purpose.
I believe that the number one thing that I found, I guess, in designing and branding for other clients that can be useful to them, but is also a hindrance, is when people fail to want to change.
Okay.
When people fail to want to be stretched and want to do something different that's not comfortable, because we're they call it creatures of habit. We like to be confounded to a certain mindset or a certain way, not realizing that our next blessing is in us breaking away from the very things that keep us bound. And it doesn't even have to be like something like trauma. It can just be that over the last 10 years, you found what worked in the last 10 years, but now we got a whole new generation that needs to be reached, you know? And so I believe that when we come out of the mindset that we don't want to change and that we got it all together, or this new person that we are connected to can't help us, it hinders you from the open door. Because again, if we're talking about divine connections mean I don't want nothing from you and you don't want nothing from me. Like, we don't have no ulterior motives, but we want to see each other grow. And so if I have something to give and you have something to give, whether it be words of wisdom, whether it be encouragement, whether it be advice about what to change, if you say, oh, I think you need to you could update this or whatever, you know, your background is a little crazy. You know, it's look, I like your stuff, right? It's all symmetrical, right? I got the line over here, the clock right there. And you could be telling me like, hey, I think you should, you know, move your light somewhere else. For me to be like, oh no, that's how it's fine the way it is. I'm hindering the prayers that I prayed to God that he would give me strategy on how to reach people or how to be more presentable. And I'm literally shutting the mouth that feeds me in a way, you know? Ooh. And so I think that one of the things that I realize is when you come with the open mind and again, you act like you don't know all that you think you know.
Hold on, say that again.
When you come with an open mind and you act like you don't know all that you think you know, I promise you, you'll walk away with more wisdom than what you bargained for at the beginning.
Whew.
Because I'm not coming in saying, "Oh, I got it. I did that already. Yep, heard that before. Yep, I did. Yep, it worked." But what's going to take you the next 20 years from now? So this is what we're talking about branding. I may have started in 2020 trying to get things moving. I told you my first logo was with my hands, but that shifted from me having hands to just having a signature because less is best. And I'm trying to reach a certain type of clientele. I went from doing stuff for clients that are like local and basic.
Yep.
Now I got people from Germany, Africa, different places across the world that's like, hey, we need you. So having an open mind.
Whew. Well, speaking of open mind, Courtney, I want you to know we've been on, man. She's been on fire in here. Don't worry, it's gonna be able to. You can go back and rewatch it, catch whatever you didn't miss. It's fire in here. And all I gotta understand, because I'm with Denise, because you speaking word of God, like you speaking, and that open mind concept. Now, you said something. I think you be doing it on purpose because you keep using the word strategy, and we've been talking about GPS all night. Because not only are you taking people somewhere in life, you taking us somewhere during this TV show tonight because you got us going. So let's go back. Let's go back. You said we need change. People need to understand change. And the best way I can break this down for everybody, think of it like a movie. You can't watch a movie over and over and over again and expect a different ending. It's not going to happen. You're going to get the same ending I don't care if you watch the movie 20 times. One of my favorite movies, The 5 Heartbeats of Temptation. You catch me with them singing movies. I'll be in the flow dancing and all that. But the movie ends the same every single time. I know how it's going to end. Mm-hmm. You have to be willing to change. Because like Maya just said, you cannot be doing something the same 10 years and expect a different outcome. It's not going to happen. Why do you think they make sequels to a movie? They make sequels because they already got you hooked because you're watching it over and over again with no change. And then you're like, oh, it's a new one. That's how they get you. So think of your life that way. She's trying to tell you, you need to make a change. You need to make the next sequel to your life. And this ain't hard to do if you follow the GPS. You ain't been listening. God's purpose, God's position, use it however you want to. God's purpose and strategy for your life.
Yep.
The strategy is the sequel. He's trying to take you there. As my Asia showed you, she came from West Philadelphia, born in, all the way down. He told you, music get me dancing. You got me thinking I'm all in Fresh Prince and everything. But like we said, think about Fresh Prince, the same thing. He made a change in his life, not just in the TV show, but Will Smith made a change in real life. And look what my Asia is trying to tell you that in order to get where you want to be and use your gifts to live in your purpose, you have to follow the GPS, God's purpose and strategy for your life.
Look, that's it right there.
I told you, you're doing it. I'm just rephrasing. I'm just re-saying what you're doing. You're the one in here preaching.
That's the whole sermon.
I know. And by the time we're done, you're gonna be telling people to come up with offering and all that. Now we're gonna start passing the plate around in a minute for offering. But now here's the thing. I want you to tell people this, because many people see the beginning when you're coming up with something, have an idea. They see this start to get built. You've been teaching us how to build it, and then you also showed and taught us how, because you're teaching tonight. You just ain't preaching. You're preaching and teaching. And then you told us how sometimes we need to change, rebrand our life. But people, we're humans by nature. We have to admit it. We're humans by nature. People like to know what are they getting in return from their investment. Like if I'm investing myself, investing my time, my money, my energy, what's my return on my investment? And so once you're telling everybody about rebranding, can you give us snippets of the type of returns that your clients or people that have worked with you of that nature, the type of return on their investment that they receive?
So it's interesting you talk about investment, because I think people automatically equate investment to money.
Yes.
They always think that, okay, well, what I'm gonna get back, what I'm gonna get in return, what am I putting out there? The best investment that you can give to yourself is to give. I think it's less about money. It's more about the posture of your heart, and every connection you make, everything you design, every place that you go. People want to be, you want people to remember you by the heart that you have, not the money that you take, not the money that you give. Because literally today in a conversation with a client, he said, ever since I met you, you took my brand to another level. Now, mind you, when I first met him, I sold into his brand, meaning I didn't ask for money and he didn't give money, but I saw value in what he was doing. So I designed something and I sent it to him, and he was like, how did you know that, I needed help? He said, I've been praying for help. I haven't got the help. And then you just come as a stranger and you send me a message and you present this thing to me, and it's something that I've been praying for, and I never knew how it was going to come. One thing I've learned in this season, or the previous season, is that you can be as gifted as you want to be gifted, but when you choose to give and pour into people, it speaks volumes beyond money.
Yes.
Because to be honest, the enemy, the devil, darkness, whoever you want to equate him to be, he'll always use money to seem like a problem, when the currency of heaven is our faith.
Whoa. You say you're not going past that one. Say that again.
So I think that we've misinterpreted, what it means to be successful in this life, because in order for us to receive anything, all we need is faith. The currency of heaven is faith.
The currency of heaven, I like that.
He said, if you believe it and you receive it, it's yours. If he said, no, to be honest, he said, if on earth as it is in heaven, heaven don't have no problems. Heaven don't have no restrictions or no reserve. We got all the restrictions and reserve down here. So I gave someone a free service. In return, not only was he helping me, I get to add it to my portfolio. He get to post it on his social media. People start to flock to him based off the design. And then he said, literally, ever since you designed for me, from that one thing, it took him to a whole nother level. And so when you understand the principle of giving, give and that shall be given to who? You. Pressed down, shaking together, running over. Yes. It's the overflow. When you give, if I give you something, my hands is open for you to take it. When you take it, my hand's still open to receive. If my hands is closed and I'm supposed to give you something, I can't. My hand's closed. And I also can't receive nothing. So we like this. People ask me, we like, and guess what? I ain't getting none either. And so I think, so that's in that regard. When you have the heart to give, God will always see to it that you don't want for nothing. He says, when you seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, everything that you need will be given to you. There's nothing that you'll never want. In regards to the money part, right? Because we live, we move, Anytime you come to my blessed hands and you receive something from me, the first thing I tell people is I pray over everything that I do. Yes. I recognize that these gifts that I have are not mine. I'm borrowing them. God has lended these gifts to me as I live here on this earth. Yes. Because guess what? When I leave here, there'll be another designer and another designer. And this is where we talk about the whole thing about you can't be so fixed on, it's like 10,000 designers. It's people on Fiverr. It's people on, Behance. It's people on Graphic River. It's all these people. Like, why would they want to come to me? Because I'm different. My DNA is different. He said he knitted me together in my mother's womb. What that mean? He intricately thought about me. And so literally, I have something to bring to the table. When you talk about a need in the earth, whenever there's a burden in the earth, that means that you're needed. I know that there's people who are getting people for money. They charge X amount of money for graphics. They charge $5 on Fiverr, or they charge $10,000 somewhere else. And here you are like, look, it's not about the money for me. I want to show you that you can get this high quality thing for affordable price. And then you can still save money. Some clients get mad at me. They like, hey, can you fix this for me? I said, no, I'll do a template flyer. You can upload it in Canva and you can do it yourself. because you're gonna learn something when you with me. I'm not about to be charging you $5 or $10 to change a flyer when you could just do it for free.
Yes.
So investment, when you come to me, I help you to see that you have value and you can take what you have and you can build that clientele. You can build those clients to come to you. Because on your social media, it's not just about posting stuff. It has to be strategy. You have to have a system.
My goodness gracious, she did it again. Oh my goodness, I'm about to almost bring the church and start. I must be the organ player when I just start playing the music to let people know it's time to start passing out the place to preach or wrapping up. We got the benediction coming because you just gave us so many nuggets right there. I need everybody to understand. She already broke you down with the investment. Now she's trying to tell you about your return. Your return doesn't always come in the form of money because you're looking for money. That's so. Matter of fact, we need to just call this episode GPS, identifying your GPS, because it ain't just God's purpose and strategy, but because she always broke you down that God's positioning you for success, because she already said it's in her DNA. And I need you to understand that success is already in your DNA, but it doesn't come in the form of what you think it is. It doesn't just be given to you. The whole purpose is you're supposed to give. Think about it. We've been talking about gifts all night. And last time I checked, nobody goes and buys a Christmas gift, wraps it up, and leave it under the tree. It's meant for you to give to somebody. Your gift is meant for you to give away to others, and then the return to come back. And it might not be in the form of money, because you already heard her say, what's going to get you to heaven? Tell them again, Myasia, what's your currency for heaven?
Your faith.
And when she told you about that same faith, she told you about the blessings. You got to have the faith, because you can't catch them blessings that God is trying to rain down on you with closed hands. I need you to think about it. I told you my mind works in music. So when she started singing, all I'm hearing is rain down on. But you can't catch it because you're closing your hands. You got to open your hands in order for God to rain those blessings down on you. Myasia has been dropping them nuggets, and she's trying to let you know success is in your DNA. Just continue to give your gift back, and God will provide for you, not just in the form of wealth, because he does that as well, but he's going to provide in the way that he needs to. Because why? God is positioning you for success. God is not in the filling business. He's only in the winning business. But he can't set you up for winning if you're not opening your hands to catch your blessing. Oh, my goodness gracious. You not took us through a lot tonight.
I did.
But I'm one of those people, because you've been dropping so much on everything that you've been telling us, because you told us you rerouted this GPS so many times tonight. I need for you. I was just about to go there. See, Theana Graham, that's my wife. That's my wife.
Hey!
I was going there. I'm coming.
See, that's help me. She helping you get it together.
Exactly. Hey, I'm following the lead. That's where I was going next. Hey, we've been married 20 years. So we must be thinking alike, because that's where I was going with it, babe. So basically, you're doing all this, but I know people are right now saying, like, all right, I need blessed hands to come. Because you just said, the gentleman that you were talking to that helped out, he was like, I was praying for you. I was praying. And you came along. The GPS we've been talking about all night, Myasia is already trying to tell you, and she's trying to tell you as well. Somebody's praying for you to come into their life. You the Uber driver they waiting for. Your GPS is going to recalculate to go by and pick them up and bless them, because you got the gift to keep going. But when that blessing, Myasia, people have been blessed by you all night long, and they trying to figure out, because I know I did. As soon as we got to talking, I'm like, yep, I know who I'm rebranding with. I don't even need to talk to nobody else. But how can people contact you? What are the ways they can contact you? If they need rebranding, if they need you to pick them up like a Uber driver, they just need you to come through with that GPS. How can people contact Miss Myasia Reed?
So I am My Blessed Hands on all social media platforms, branding strategy. On Facebook, My Blessed Hands, Instagram, My Blessed Hands, as well as MBH Graphics, myblessedhands.com. And that's pretty much it. If you Google my name, My Blessed Hands, you're gonna see my face. And so, like I said, I specialize in branding, rebranding. I love to just see the transformation in people. They may have a vision, they may have six figures of stuff, and I turn it into something that's totally beyond their wildest dreams, because guess what? It comes from God. I don't design without consulting God first. And I believe that because I knew what it was like to design and God wasn't in it. I was just grinding. I was hustling, making money, but I had no value in my hands. And so in 2020 into 2021, like God anointed my hands and he began to give me dreams and visions about clients. So please know that if you do reach out to me, you're going to get the grace and peace first, because I come in the grace and peace of the Lord like Paul, okay? And from there, you know, I let people know what I do. And one thing I do stand by is integrity. Money is not everything to me. Connections are. And so, you know, I definitely tell people, just because you reach out to me, it doesn't mean that I'll be the one designing for you. Because I do believe that there has to be some type of relationship between client and designer, you know. So I do, you know, I consult, you know, and with God about everything. So know that whatever I do is going to be blessed. Yes.
So I'm starting to come to the conclusion you can't stop dropping nuggets. I think just dropping nuggets is a part of your.
Listen, when it's in you, it's gonna bubble up and overflow and come out. Listen, out of the heart the mouth speak. That's a whole nother sermon, okay?
Oh yeah, we definitely bringing you back for that, because you overflow has been coming all night long, because you heard us say God is her consultant, and I tell people all the time my business partner is God. So
God is my CEO.
If God is not your CEO, oh Lord, geez, you steady doing it. She's basically telling you, in order to move with that GPS, you got to have the CEO of God, because that's how you're gonna get things done. And as you heard her, my blessed hands on all platforms. She even told you, she kind of stunned it on you. Google me.
Google me, baby.
Google me back. See, I knew you was gonna catch it. I wasn't the only one. I work in music. I want to Google me, baby. Oh, no, we're not going down there route. We're not going down there route. But I gotta do it because I do this to everybody, because everybody out there know you preaching. Tamara, still come on, sis. She even hit you, because I call it talking in TikTok, talking in social media, but she hit with the period. With a
period, poo.
My wife talk like that all day long. I just be sitting there. We have whole conversations in TikTok, so I ain't even mad no more. I just joined the bandwagon. Why fight it? But I have to ask you to do this, because I ask everybody, and you've been dropping so much tonight. It's overflowing, because normally people be like, I ain't got nothing else left. But I have to know, if you can give any advice to the people, don't matter what it is, business, life, personal, financials, it don't matter, whatever you choose, because you already told us success is in our DNA. How do we position ourselves, since we've been talking about GPS all night? How can you, or what advice would you give somebody that's trying to follow their GPS to achieve the success in their DNA?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is a man that plans his ways, the Lord orders his steps. Or a way seems right to a man, but in the end it can lead to destruction. All these different things that I'm mentioning has a lot to do with, you may have a plan, but God ultimately has like a greater purpose. And so, and everything that I shared, I believe that I was going in the direction, but God kept rerouting me in different ways. But ultimately, I realized that it all came down to me giving reverence to God. Yes. Like, if God is not in it, it's not going to succeed. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care what it look like on the outside. If God's not in the center, if he's not at the top, the bottom, left, or the right, he can't stir you the right way. He may be telling you, hey, don't take that client. That person is not integral. I've had moments where God has given me dreams about clients and said, they have dirty money. Don't take their money. And guess what? I said, God, if you told me that, you're going to have to give me strategy out of it. Person gave me money. The person gave me money. Because when they give you money, you're going to spend it. You're going to use it for something. Person gave me money. God said, don't take their money. I said, God, you're going to have to give me strategy on what to do. I had a special happening. And I'm sharing these examples just so you can see how precious God is, but how intentional he is that he would never lead us astray. So God said, don't take their money. I said, okay, God, well, you're going to give me strategy. They gave me the money based off a special, and the special had ran out already. I said, hey, I've been holding your money for over a certain amount of time. And in order to keep my integrity, I would like to give you your money back until you're ready to purchase services again.
Oh, wow.
And they were confused about it. Some people got annoyed about it, but the thing about it was, God is also testing our obedience and listening to him.
Yeah.
And he allowed me to get out of it. And so I gave glory and honor and just reverence to God for leading me. So I think that whatever business you have, whatever plan or vision you have to understand that it has to come back to God. It start with God and end with God. I also believe that whether you're a believer or not, right? Because I get people who are successful who don't believe in God. They believe in other stuff. But on this platform right now today, the success that I have is because God has been the center, but his word has been my GPS.
Yes.
The word has been my GPS. It says the word comes to bring correction, rebuke. It brings you training so that you can be equipped for God's good work. I don't just design for myself. I design because it leads me to people like you who need services that I may provide, but then there's other things that would be worked up in there. I think we also need to be mindful of God around us. I think that sometimes we feel like God's too far, and I tell people God's closer than your skin. He's closer than your skin.
Exactly.
And there's nothing that you can do or say that makes him believe otherwise, because he says in his word, I make myself known to everybody so that no one has an excuse. And so I believe that when you understand that God is close, you don't have to look other places to find success. Some people use money. They use money as a way to gain success, but then they empty. God don't want us to be empty.
No, he doesn't.
He wants us to be at peace. And so I believe that when God is in the center, when you're recognizing his presence around you, when you acknowledge him for everything that he does for you, listen, let's get it. We're gonna reach our destination.
She did it again. She took us on out. She told you, not just God in the middle, the beginning and the end. There's no difference.
Alpha and Omega.
The Alpha and Omega. It's the GPS. It's just Alpha and Omega, beginning and end. With a GPS, it has a starting point and an ending point. Along the way, you're going to pick people up, but you can't do it if God is not in it. He got to be in the vehicle with you. Ooh. If God's not in it, you not winning. That's a bar. If God is not in it, you're not winning. So he has to be in that vehicle with you on your destination from point A to B. Alpha and Omega, your GPS, God's purpose and strategy for your life. Oh my goodness. Again, we got to do it one more time. Can you please again, because they're going to want to reach out. How do we get in touch with you? I know, but how do people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Facebook under My Blessed Hands. You can find me on Instagram under My Blessed Hands. You can find me on my website, myblessedhands.com. My name on the little bar is Myasia Reed, Myasia A. Reed. You can find me on there too. Send me an inbox, send me a request. Whatever you feel comfortable with. That's about it.
Well, I can't. I got on behalf of everybody. I can't. I normally say I can't speak for everybody, but tonight I'm speaking for everybody.
Yes.
We are so thankful that you were able to come on and join us. We are so. My blessed hands bless us tonight, not just with our hands or the words that came out of your mouth. We thank you so much for blessing us with your presence and your knowledge. And you got me rebranding myself in my head, so I know I'm going to be working with you.
I got you.
We thank you for coming on. Now, don't go run nowhere because I want to talk to you after the show.
Yes.
But I just wanted to, as they say, we want to give you your flowers while you're here and say thank you.
Glory to God.
But no, we will be having you back on soon. We're going to have her back on real soon. But thank you again, and I'll see you later, Myasia, man. Tonight's episode was about a GPS. God's purpose and strategy for your life. We didn't even know we was going that way. You know how it is. We never know how we're going. We let the flow happen, how it gets us from point A to point B, like Alpha and Omega. Myasia said it today. And if you need to reach out to her, My Blessed Hands on all social media platforms, or you can Google her, myblessedhands.com. Again, I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for receiving My Blessed Hands information with me. I hope that helped you as much as it helped me. And I look forward to seeing y'all again next week, next Thursday, same time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We got to get another and get Somebody else is coming in here because we're going to keep this thing rolling. But I thank you all for coming and tuning in. And I can't wait to see y'all next week. But until then, I want you to live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. I'll see you next week.
I'm back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchanged something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.